Thank you very much, Helen. It's my great pleasure now to introduce our guest speaker at today's ceremony, Nadine O'Regan. Nadine is the books and arts editor with the Business Post and a columnist and feature writer with the same newspaper. Nadine is originally from Skibbereen, and she read English and philosophy here at UCC, graduating with first-class honours a few years ago. And she then completed an MPhil in creative writing at Trinity College Dublin before embarking on what has been a very successful career in journalism. Starting at the Connaught Tribune in Galway, Nadine's work has appeared in the Irish Times, Irish Independent, The Observer, The Guardian, McGill Magazine, as well as in the Business Post. In 2017, she was recognised at the National Journalism Awards for her interview with the film director Neil Jordan, which was subsequently carried by various international publications. She's won 2 National Radio Awards in 2015 and 2017 for her Today FM radio show Songs in the Key of Life, and she's a frequent contributor to radio programmes including Arena, Weekend on One and Sean O'Rourke. She's also served as an arts reporter and contributor to television shows including The Works and The View on RTE. Nadine is the director of the Southern Star newspaper in Skibbereen, and she hosts the podcast My Roots Are Showing, which has featured interviews with Graham Norton, Samantha Power and Pascal Donohoe. Nadine also established the annual event The Art of Anxiety, dedicated to enhancing the public's awareness of mental health issues through the medium of live music and conversation. Please give a very warm welcome to Nadine O'Regan.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me here today, and congratulations on your success as graduates. I'm absolutely blown away hearing about all your degrees, particularly the one that says, when you're not pregnant, people don't give a flying toss about you. Excellent title. I'm really honoured to be here today as an invited guest, and I'd like to thank UCC President, Professor Patrick O'Shea, and Professor Chris Williams for this opportunity. As someone who hails from County Cork and who studied at UCC, it's a real privilege for me to stand in De Vere Hall and to return to a university in which for 3 years I was incredibly happy. But what to tell you today? Well, when I was asked to give this speech, I was informally told that it would be a good idea to provide you with some words of wisdom, illumination, and inspiration. No pressure then. But the advice was solid. More than feeling honoured today personally by being here, I would much prefer to be of use to you today and maybe help you avoid some of the pitfalls I may have encountered as you go on in your lives and careers. So with your indulgence, I'd like to travel back in time, back to the late 1990s when I was a student studying at and then graduating from UCC. Now, it's fair to say they were very different times. The Spice Girls and Oasis were big. We were all watching Friends, but for the first time, like not as a Netflix rerun. We were into sustainable fashion, but only because there were hardly any good clothes shops. Online shopping didn't exist yet. Tinder didn't exist yet. And Love Island definitely did not exist yet. The concept of dating, in fact, had not come to Ireland. How anyone ever got together at all was a mystery, except for that we knew it had something to do with the pub. There were no social media influencers, there was no Twitter, there was barely any texting, and a phone was more like a blunt force weapon than the slender precision object we carry around now. But some things were the same. We swore loyalty to Barry's Tea and Murphy's Pints, and to never walking through the centre of the quad until we graduated. Also, I think it's fair to say, then as now, we were unsure of ourselves as students. We were finding our way. We were finding our voices. We were trying on different hats, moving away from school cliques and forging adult identities for ourselves far away from the influence of family and background. Coming from Skibbereen, I felt very much like I had landed in the big smoke when I got to Cork. I was there to study English and philosophy, and it took about a year for me to even get settled, to tell you the truth. But over time, UCC gave me confidence and a kind of a permission to try new things. Although I wasn't studying journalism as part of my degree, UCC gave me my start in what would become an important part of my career, music writing. There's a line from one of our greatest Irish writers, Samuel Beckett, that's very popular these days in Silicon Valley. He said, "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better." When I was 19, in 1997, I had my own version of that when I joined the college newspaper as a music-mad arts correspondent. My first big assignment was to travel to Belfast for the Hot Press Awards, a glitzy affair in the Europa Hotel. To say that I was beyond excited was putting it mildly. At the time, the Hot Press Awards were the biggest music awards in the country. All the most high-profile musicians would be there. Somehow I had landed a press pass, having promised the college newspaper that I would get them myriad exclusives. It was only when I arrived in Belfast that I learned of my downfall. My pass did not enable me to be in the auditorium with the celebrities, which included the Corrs, Bono, Shane MacGowan. My pass allowed me to be in an adjoining room watching everyone on a screen with the other journalists. Not great. My only hope lay in the toilets, because that was where the celebrities and the regular people mixed. And I'm persistent. So at 2 a.m. I went to the bathroom and my luck was in. Sinead O'Connor strolled into the toilet. I asked her if I could do an interview with her. She asked if she could go to the toilet first. I said that was fine. She came out of the loo and we had a lovely 5-minute interview. She spoke about the awards she'd just won and her career over the years. I left the bathroom practically cheering with delight and looked down to discover that the whole time my dictaphone had been on pause. There was no interview recorded. So yeah, ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. It wasn't my finest day in journalism, but it was a start. And over the years that followed, I would move to Dublin, undertake a master's degree in creative writing, and begin working for papers including the Irish Times, the Irish Independent, and the Business Post, where I'm now books and arts editor and a columnist. I also presented several radio shows for local and national stations for 12 years. I have a podcast now called My Roots Are Showing, which features interviews with celebrities, and I've worked in television as a reporter. I did not make the dictaphone on pause mistake again. I did make many other ones, though. But if I look back, the funny thing is, I don't regret the mistakes that I've made half as much as the times that I refused to put myself out there at all, because I was scared that if I did do that big adventurous thing, that I would wind up making a mistake. And so sometimes I would do nothing, I would risk nothing, and I would get nothing. I didn't go on TV actually until I was 27 because my skin was bad and I was self-conscious about that, and I only started on radio with Phantom FM in 2006, even though I'd wanted to be on radio for many years before that, but I had thought my voice wasn't good enough, so I didn't try soon enough. I self-censored. I would encourage you to try soon, always. And there's a line that I think you should always ask yourself if you're considering doing something, as you will in future years. What would you do if you weren't scared? And I think the answer to that question should give you your decision. The poet Seamus Heaney used a version of that line to his wife, actually, in a text before he died. Noli timere, he said in Latin, do not be afraid. Go forward, be brave. Or, as a social influencer might say in 2020, fake it till you make it. So be ambitious for yourself and be bold. But also don't forget to be kind. Part of my job as a culture writer, columnist and editor is to look around Ireland and see the shape of the times. The challenges that graduating students of any degree face now are profoundly different from the ones that I faced graduating in the early 2000s. As we all know, there are immense challenges around housing, around homelessness, the gig economy where people have jobs but no permanency, climate change. Then there's technology. Technology has brought us great advances, but it has also delivered upon us an increasing isolation. And there is a great capacity online now for shaming and for bullying. As you leave UCC, I would encourage you to be ambitious in your future lives and careers, but I would also encourage you to remember that while you are an individual, you are also a member of society. Remember not to follow mob mentality, to find your tribe, to do things not always for obvious gain, but because they are the right things to do, to be kind and to remain curious. Some of these things may be harder now to achieve than they used to be because we live in kind of strange new times. But coming out of Cork, as I did, I feel sure you'll be fine. Not because Cork is the best county, although it is, but because Cork people and people who live in Cork do have a strong sense of community. We're very lucky like that. And finally, I would encourage you to celebrate your successes. I have a friend who has a stack of awards for his many films on the mantelpiece at home, even an Oscar. But when he looks back, he has one regret. 10 years ago, he was going so fast that he never took a breath, and he never thought about what he had achieved and what all those awards represented. The British author Zadie Smith says you must learn to distinguish between an honour and an achievement. Right now, it is an honour for me to talk to you, but the achievement is all yours. The hours of study you've put in, the pride your parents and family feel in you, you should drink in every drop of that success. Celebrate your success today, be proud of what you've achieved, and from this day, take everything you've learned at UCC and bring it with you. Take risks, aim high. I look forward to reading about you in the newspapers, hopefully not in the crime section, and seeing you on television and encountering you in some form or another over the years as you take your degrees and you move on into the next phase of your lives. Huardas, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nadine, for those wonderful words. Remember what you said about failure, persistence, bravery. You know, if you don't risk greatly, you won't achieve greatly. And thank you also, Nadine, for the great work you do every day in the search of truth through journalism. Well, enough speechifying. You want to go and get your photographs with your family. So there's one more thing I have to do. Congratulate you, wish you well, and close everything out, finally, in Latin. Hanc congratulationem universitatis ad gradus varius conferendos nunc finitam esse dico. Tommy Crickner, we're finished. We're going to go get photographs.